Hey retro food fans! Today we're going to go to 1963 and explore bacon chop suey. Oh yes, you are going to love it. Hey everyone, I'm Jill and this is YesterKitchen, and today we're going all the way back to 1963 for a fabulous recipe, bacon chop suey. If chop suey wasn't good enough, we're putting bacon in it. At least they did in 1963, and so are we. So chop suey is one of those dishes that's kind of went by egg foo young. It's not really Chinese, but it is Chinese, but very American. So there's two different stories for how this fabulous dish came about, and not the bacon, just the real chop suey. But we're gonna get started first, and then I'll tell you the story. So the first thing I did is I cooked a package of bacon. It is nice and crumbly and happy. So you wanna cook it not super crisp, but just when you're almost there, crumble it up and put it aside. You are gonna wanna save half of your bacon grease. And into a nice big pan. I know bacon grease, but oh, it's flavor. And you got it anyway, you just cook the bacon. So we're gonna put that into a pan, just straight up bacon fat. I know. If you really don't want to use it, you can use oil, maybe about 2 tablespoons, 2.5 tablespoons. But our 1963 recipe is bacon fat, and that's what we're using today. So our bacon fat is nice and melted, and to that we're going to add 1 cup of very thinly sliced onions. You can use yellow or you can use white, either one. And then we have, where'd it go? 1.5 cups of thinly sliced celery. Remember chop suey? Chop suey is just vegetables sauteed with some soy sauce, a little thickening agent. We'll get to all that, but it's just a fabulous dish. And then lastly, we're gonna add 1 cup of sliced mushrooms. And in they go. So we're just gonna stir these guys around. And while they're stirring around, you want them to go until they're just wilted, maybe about 10 minutes. So chop suey, where did chop suey come from? Well, as usual, there's a couple different stories and there might be more. So the first story is in 1896, the Chinese ambassador to America, Li Hongchang. Take a look at his picture. Isn't he fabulous? Oh my God. So he was having guests here in America, and he wanted something for a Chinese dish to serve them with more of an American taste. So he asked his cook to come up with something, and his cook came up with chop suey. That's one story. The other story is going way back to the California Gold Rush, and that's where our egg foo young came from. And the story goes that one of the first Chinese restaurants out there was getting ready to close for the night, and the owner was just cleaning up, and a whole group of drunk miners came in demanding food. And so they kind of bugged him, and so he finally said, okay. And the story is he went in the back of the kitchen and kind of scraped off all the leftover food from different plates, threw it in a pot, poured a bunch of soy sauce on it, and served it to them. And they loved it. So you pick. Either way, this is just as good. Now in the 50s, that is when Chinese food reached its heyday. It was actually considered very exotic, and people dressed up to go to Chinese restaurants, and they were very different and very new and very proper, and they just had these great dishes that everybody wanted to try. So this dish is from 1963, as I said, where they started experimenting a little bit on a traditional recipe, and that's where the bacon came in, and I couldn't be happier because if you don't know by now, I love bacon. It's kind of my religion. So anyway, we're gonna let this cook for about 10 minutes, just until everything starts wilting, and we'll be right back. So take a look. All your veggies are nice and wilted. They're just starting to brown, but it's not necessary that they're browned. It's gonna happen a little bit. So now what you're gonna do is you're gonna take 2 cups of water, and you're gonna take 1.5 tablespoons of cornstarch. I'm just gonna put it right here, and in goes all the cornstarch. And here, I'll just use my happy little whisk and mix that around. You're gonna pour that in, and you're gonna bring it up to a simmer. It won't take long. And once it comes to a simmer, You're gonna cover it for 10 minutes and let the cornstarch do its thickening magic that it does. So I have a little group of other cooking channel creators. We're all really small, we're all growing, we're all very diverse, and everyone's just so great at what they do. So I am gonna go ahead and give a bunch of them shout outs. If you go down in my description, you'll see, they're just so great. They have great shows, they're great people. I adore all of them, and I hope you do too. So check it out. Okay, so here goes. You're all working very hard to share our passion with you. And there's really no flavor in here yet, so you're just basically creating a little vegetable stock that's gonna get a little thick. So we are simmering away right now. We're gonna cover this, we're gonna wait 10 minutes, and we'll be right back. Okay, so 10 minutes is up. Take a look at this magic. See, the cornstarch has done exactly what we want it to do. We want to just thicken this up, and it did not disappoint. Okay, so to this we're gonna add a teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. In it goes. We're also gonna add 3 tablespoons of soy sauce. And give that a little mix. And then we're gonna add the rest of our vegetables. We have a cup of sliced green pepper, and as you can see, I sliced them pretty darn thin. And then we also have 2 to 3 cups of cabbage. You can use regular green cabbage. I chose to use Napa Chinese cabbage because it just has a little more texture, a little more flavor. I just kind of like it. So we're gonna go through the whole process again. Now it's starting to look like chop suey. So the package of bacon that we cooked and crumbled, we're gonna add half, maybe a little more, because the rest is just gonna be for garnish on top. And you wanna mix that in. There are so many different recipes for chop suey out there. I mean, literally after the 1950s Chinese restaurant boom, everyone just started making it at home and tweaking the recipe and enhancing the recipe, and I lost a piece of celery. Back in you go. And it is what it is today, but this happens to be a fabulous recipe. Okay, so now you're gonna go ahead and put this thing on medium heat. You're gonna cover it. You're gonna let it sit for 20 minutes so everything just cooks down and is happy. 20 minutes has passed and we are done. Take a look. Look at that. Everything is cooked down. The flavor is perfect. You've got your bacon, so all the bacon lovers can be happy, and you can get your vegetables into your kids. All that's left is to serve it up. So I'm gonna get rid of this cooktop. Bring in a classic Chinese bowl with white rice. And I'm just gonna take a little bit, spoon it over the top with a little gravy. And you have bacon chop suey. This stuff is fabulous and easy. It's so easy to learn about retro and food history because I give you really easy recipes. So all you do is you cook the recipes, you tell the stories, and it doesn't get any better than that, at least for me. Oh, I forgot one very, very important part. On top of your chop suey, you definitely want to put some more bacon, because more bacon. If you would like to explore more dishes from your childhood or just the past, I invite you to subscribe. I release new videos every Friday. In the meantime, here's some more retro dishes for you. And remember, every dish, even bacon chop suey, has a story. I'll see you in the next video.